Hi, I'm Max. Welcome to Timeline Movie Recap. The film opens with Joey, or Joseph, dreaming, having a flashback to a childhood incident that caused one of his legs to become crippled. Then the man is awakened by his mother. Here we can see that Joseph lives alone with his mother, which means that at the age of 47, he is still unmarried. Joseph wakes up and gets ready for the day, managing his family's farm while teaching at the village school. After that, Joseph gets ready to teach at the school. Joseph also has a girlfriend who is a teacher, a widow with one son. Her name is Rosie Ali.
Not in this lifetime.
Have a good one.
You too.
While in class, Joseph tells his students that he will retire at the end of the semester, when suddenly a new female student enters the class.
That would mean it's next week.
Because of her beauty, Catherine easily charms everyone in the class, including Robert, Rosie Ali's son.
Straight today, get your history book. You can turn.
That evening, Joseph visits Rosalie's house while preparing school documents together. Rosalie's mother and son are also there, getting ready to rest. In the middle of the busyness, Joseph brings up the topic of his upcoming retirement. He talks about the future of their relationship and his desire to live together. However, Rosalie feels that she still needs time, as she isn't ready to leave her son. She promises that when her son enters college, they might live together. This disappoints Joseph, as he feels his age is already too advanced, and he has never experienced the happiness of marriage. Unlike a typical young love drama, they both have a calm, mature discussion. Eventually, Joseph politely decides to leave. The next day after school, Catherine, the new student, is seen sitting with Robert, Rosalie's son. Catherine asks about where her father is now. Robert answers that his father died in the Korean War, which means Robert is now an orphan. At the same time, Joseph is seen with Rosalie. Catherine again asks if Mr. Joseph is her stepfather. Robert answers,
"No, he's just screwing my mother's."
Then Robert leaves with his mother and Mr. Joseph. When Joseph is at home, a retired mayor, his new neighbor, arrives with his daughter, who turns out to be the new student, Catherine. They came to leave their beloved horse with Joseph because the mayor has been very busy lately and is rarely home. He offers a generous payment, which Joseph gladly accepts. Catherine's face shows joy as she immediately takes the horse to the stable, while the mayor, with other matters to attend to, leaves his daughter with Joseph. At the stable, Catherine asks Joseph to teach her how to ride a horse properly, especially since her father has paid him a good sum. Joseph happily agrees to teach her, and Catherine is even given the freedom to enter or take the keys to the stable. On their way back to Catherine's house, they talk about their personal lives, from Joseph's upcoming retirement to Catherine's dream of becoming a famous actress. Catherine even praises Joseph for being such a great teacher, but Joseph humbly brushes it off, saying that he's just an ordinary teacher. Here we are also shown that Joseph is skilled at hunting, as he goes out to hunt ducks and brings one home. When he arrives at home, there is a doctor who is chatting and just finished giving medicine to Joseph's mother. The doctor asks Joseph if he has met the mayor, as the mayor had inquired about him recently. Joseph explains that they have made a deal to take care of the horse. Jokingly, the doctor asks if Joseph is not interested in the beautiful mayor's daughter. Joseph replies that their relationship is purely business, especially since the mayor's daughter is also his student. After that, Joseph takes the doctor to the door as he is leaving. He asks about his mother's condition. The doctor tells him that her condition is worsening. According to the doctor, she has about 6 months left, or maybe even less, and Joseph's role is to help keep his mother's mental state stable and prevent her from becoming too stressed. The next day, while Joseph is teaching, Catherine shows some subtle signs of special interest in him. After school, Joseph heads to take care of the horses. When he arrives at the stable, he is surprised to find the door unlocked. He doesn't see anyone there and decides to check the loft of the stable.
What for?
It turns out Catherine has been waiting on the loft. Joseph is puzzled by what she's doing there and approaches her. At that moment, the atmosphere becomes tense. Joseph looks awkward, unable to look Catherine in the eye, as strange feelings start to overwhelm him. In the silence, Catherine spontaneously drops a hint, saying that people rarely come up to the loft, so it's safe to... Wait, safe for what? Do you guys get what she means by safe? Comment below if you understand the meaning. All right, enough? As a typical conventional man, Joseph understands the implication of Catherine's statement. However, since Joseph has no experience in such matters, he just stands there, frozen, like a deer caught in the headlights. Frustrated, Catherine suddenly... Joseph is stunned by the sight and, unsure of how to react, decides to walk away. What the hell? However, in the middle of his walk, he seems to hear a devilish whisper saying, maybe it's okay. Please, don't do it, my servant. Suddenly, he changes his mind and decides to...
NANI?
Like any normal man with the instincts to release built-up tension,
I think we should make love.
they ended up banging.
NANI? NANI?
The next day, Joseph and Rosalie are hanging out at a bar with some alcoholic drinks. When Joseph gets a little tipsy, he shows signs of guilt from the previous night's actions. He throws a few flirtatious comments at Rosalie, and then they attend a meeting with the school board. In the meeting, Joseph and Rosalie try to propose an extension for Joseph's contract, but the school board rejects it, and the meeting ends with Joseph, frustrated, leaving the room. Due to their failure in extending Joseph's contract, Rosalie decides to give in and agrees to marry him and live together. That night, Rosalie decides to stay at Joseph's house. The atmosphere feels warm, but everything changes when Joseph says the wrong thing. He tells her that soon he will make her happy by replacing her late husband. This makes Rosalie feel uncomfortable, and she leaves immediately. This leaves Joseph feeling confused, so much so that he can't sleep and ends up consuming more alcohol. The next morning, Joseph plans to check the stable. Soon after, the doctor arrives and gives him a rifle, as he believes Joseph is skilled at hunting but hasn't been hunting recently. Joseph, excited by the rifle, tries it out and plans to head into the forest. Along the way, Joseph encounters a wolf. As he reaches for his rifle, the wolf has already escaped. Long story short, Joseph returns to the stable. Upon arriving at the stable, once again, Joseph is shocked to find Catherine riding a horse, but not wearing a stitch of clothing. What the hell? At first, Joseph is a bit scared by Catherine's audacity and says, "What if someone else comes in and finds out about this?" But Catherine instead seduces him and asks,
Jesus, Catherine.
You like it?
and as expected, with Joseph's mind completely clouded, they gave in and screwed around. That evening, Joseph returns home, and his mother is still busy preparing dinner. Joseph looks joyful, and then he celebrates the day by playing the piano. Soon, his mother comes over to him. Here, his mother, aware of her deteriorating health, advises Joseph to get married soon, especially since once she's gone, Joseph will be left to live alone. Joseph explains that he's not ready yet, as he doesn't feel financially stable enough. The next day, Joseph teaches a poetry class to his students. He explains that poems are often written based on the writer's personal experiences and are then adorned with beautiful words. Joseph asks one of his students to hold a painting, and Catherine, who has a crush on Joseph, eagerly steps forward. Joseph explains that even from this painting of the waves, we can imagine the scent or sound of the waves and turn that into poetry. Everything around us carries emotional inspiration. Catherine seems distracted and starts teasing Joseph. She says Joseph should also write a poem about me, like how beautiful it is to take care of horses in the stable. What the hell? Catherine's sarcasm here, guys, clearly refers to what happened in the loft of the stable. Soon Rosalie enters, intending to put away some teaching supplies in the classroom. Catherine, with no hesitation, continues and says that Joseph should write a poem about their love story because it's so beautiful and unforgettable. Rosalie, overhearing this, has a positive outlook and assumes Catherine is talking about her and Joseph's love story. She then tells Catherine that it's an interesting idea because Joseph is a great writer. Immediately, Catherine becomes jealous of Rosalie. After class ends, Catherine hands in her poetry assignment and gives Joseph a note with an invitation to meet and discuss something very important. Long story short, Joseph drives Catherine home. On the way, Joseph is a bit upset with Catherine for flirting with him in class. He doesn't want anyone else to find out about their relationship, but Catherine responds by saying that Joseph was the one who flirted with her. Joseph starts to get worried about the consequences of this relationship, especially if, heaven forbid, Catherine gets pregnant. He asks her if she has ever done what the audience expects. Catherine replies that she has never done it before and teases Joseph by removing her lower covering.
How about
Joseph, already frustrated with Catherine's behavior, immediately snaps at her, telling her to get straight to the point with what she meant by having an important conversation. Catherine then admits that she is now
I am
pregnant.
pregnant.
Joseph, disgusted and scared by Catherine's confession, plans to leave her and her car behind. In the end, Catherine admits that she was just joking about being pregnant and once again seduces Joseph. Feeling played, Joseph says that he will never touch or meet Catherine again. But here's what Catherine does.
Nani?
Yep, Joseph ends up giving in after all and gives in to the moment in the stable. Like any guy, Joseph gets carried away and they let it all happen in the stable once again. After that, Joseph accompanies Rosalie to do her monthly shopping. When they are about to return, Rosalie asks if any of Joseph's students have ever had a crush on him. Joseph dodges the question and says that it's impossible because he's too old for his students. With sarcasm, Rosalie responds that maybe there is, and that the student even left a horse at Joseph's stable. The next morning, while Joseph is still asleep, a mysterious man knocks on his door. The visitor is
Major? Good morning, Joseph.
It turns out the mayor, knowing that Joseph enjoys hunting, wants to invite him to go hunting. While hunting, Joseph appears nervous and awkward. Of course, he's awkward. Catherine's father is the mayor. However, the mayor doesn't know about what happened in the stable and assumes Joseph is just cold. After hunting, Joseph returns home, and the doctor's already there, having just given his mother a higher dose of medicine, meaning her condition is worsening. The doctor advises Joseph to prepare for the worst by gathering all family members, but Joseph explains that his relatives are living far away now, and his mother asked him not to tell them about her illness. Joseph continues with his duties at the stable. Soon after, Catherine arrives and offers Joseph an alcoholic drink. But Joseph, still thinking about his mother's condition, refuses. Once again, Catherine tries to seduce him. This time, she asks if they can move to her house since she's tired of the stable. However, Joseph flatly refuses. Feeling rejected, Catherine sarcastically comments on Joseph and Rosalie's wedding plans. Joseph is shocked and asks how Catherine knows about this. It turns out that Robert, Rosalie's son, is the one who told her, as Robert is also against the marriage. Hearing this, Joseph becomes jealous of Catherine and Robert's closeness. He fears that Catherine will tell Robert about their relationship. However, Catherine reassures Joseph that it won't get out because she truly loves him. The conversation wraps up and they end up sleeping together.
I promise you.
After their encounter, suddenly,
Nani?
What you doing?
The doctor is shocked to see Joseph and Catherine in an intimate moment, like Adam and Eve. After
Setelah
that,
itu-
the doctor and Joseph have a private conversation about what happened in the stable. The doctor is disappointed in Joseph for his actions. He warns Joseph that he should now focus on his mother's condition, especially since Catherine's father is a retired major, a sharpshooter, and if he finds out, Joseph's life might not be peaceful for generations. Joseph admits that both he and Catherine have mutual feelings, and he enjoys the situation. He honestly admits that he has never done what the audience expects, even with Rosiali, and this is the reason why all of this happened. The doctor, hearing Joseph's explanation, can only promise to keep this secret. The next day, during lunch break, Joseph and Rosiali have lunch together in the cafeteria. Catherine and Robert are also there, playing billiards. Soon after, Catherine approaches the couple. At first, Catherine compliments Rosiali, but then she reveals that Robert often confides in her, saying he is depressed because of Joseph's presence in his life.
I'm really upset about you and Joseph.
This immediately makes Joseph uncomfortable, and he asks Catherine to mind her own business. After school, Joseph drives Rosiali home. Before parting ways, Rosiali compliments Catherine for being so caring towards Robert. After that, Rosiali kisses Joseph on the lips. Joseph, who was used to easily hooking up with Catherine in the car, tried the same with Rosiali, but Rosiali refused and suggested they move into the house instead. This, however, made Joseph start comparing Rosiali to Catherine, and in the end, he decided to just go home. That night, while Joseph and his mother are playing the piano together, in the middle of the music, his mother suddenly asks about his relationship with Catherine. Joseph is immediately shocked by the question. His mother has known about their relationship all along. Joseph feels guilty for what he's done. However, instead of being angry, his mother understands, saying that most men are like Joseph. Soon after, his mother's condition worsens. She says she is in great physical pain. Joseph then carries her to rest. That night, Joseph overthinks everything that has happened in his life. His mother knowing about his relationship with Catherine, his fading relationship with Rosiali, and his dilemmas regarding Catherine. He drowns his anxiety in alcohol. Once he's tipsy, he decides to go see Rosiali in the middle of the heavy rain. When Joseph arrives, Rosiali is surprised by his visit and angry at him for not controlling his voice. Joseph, tipsy, goes straight to the point, saying he's distressed about their relationship because they've never done what the audience expects, especially as he grows older, fearing he might die before experiencing what a normal person does. His inner conflict still haunts Rosiali, and she remains torn over the death of her late husband. Hearing that, Joseph, fed up, finally took action.
Hey, wait.
At first, Rosiali stood firm, but in the end, she gave in. Glass after glass of alcohol is consumed by Rosiali, and of course, she eventually gets tipsy. This naturally makes Joseph very happy, as his desires are finally fulfilled. But life isn't smooth sailing after all. The next day, Joseph's mother passes away. At this point, Joseph's emotions are mixed. On one hand, he's sad because he's lost his mother, but on the other hand, he knows that she's no longer suffering in this world. But after the funeral, people gather at Joseph's house. Rosiali takes the initiative to go through the documents in the house in case she finds any final letter or will from Joseph's mother. However, instead of finding a will from Joseph's mother, Rosiali discovers a love letter containing inappropriate words from Joseph's top student, Catherine. What the hell? What kind of inappropriate words? After reading the letter, Rosiali is furious and approaches Joseph.
What's this?
Rosiali feels deeply disappointed in Joseph for his actions, especially after she had given him everything he wanted. She swears not to give him another chance.
I hope you die! Oh, God.
Like a man struck by misfortune, Joseph now feels that his life has lost its meaning. He spends the night once again drowning his sorrows in alcohol. Soon, Catherine arrives and finds him heavily drunk. He talks about their relationship, which Rosiali has discovered. However, Catherine, who also loves him, asks him to marry her, but Joseph refuses. And once again, Catherine resorted to her usual trick, attempting to seduce him by slipping out of her clothes.
Don't be mad.
In that tense moment, Joseph is torn between following his heart or his mind. As everything in his life begins to unravel, he decides to reject it all.
I love Rosalie, too.
Joseph goes straight to Rosalie's house and gives a speech while Rosalie is busy sewing. But Rosalie doesn't care about anything Joseph says as she's already too angry. Joseph, feeling defeated, has no idea what to do and ends up spending the night there. The next morning, the doctor visits Rosalie's house to logically explain that everything that happened between Joseph and Catherine is still understandable, given Joseph's background of never having experienced love or intimacy. However, Rosalie still cannot accept the reality. Not long after that, Joseph left the house. Meanwhile, Joseph continues to teach as usual. After class, he asked Robert for a moment to talk. Joseph asked if there was any way he could become Robert's father, but Robert said it wasn't possible because his father was irreplaceable. Joseph then admitted that Robert's father was his best friend, a talented man, which was why Joseph didn't marry Rosalie. Hearing this, Robert felt sad but warned Joseph to be careful. The mayor already knew about his affair with Catherine. When Joseph returns home, he quickly prepares, fearing that if the mayor comes, he might be killed right away. Joseph grabs his rifle and hides in the loft. Sure enough, that night, the mayor arrives but without a rifle, as he comes in peace. The mayor's visit is mainly to ask Joseph about his seriousness regarding his daughter and his intentions toward her. When the mayor realizes that Joseph has no intention of marrying Catherine, his wife becomes furious, and the mayor, maintaining control, decides to leave, waiting for Joseph to show some commitment. Soon after, Catherine arrives again, teasing Joseph and asking him to marry her. Joseph, who no longer wants to continue this illicit relationship, firmly rejects her. But Catherine responds by saying that she's just caused a little bit of trouble. It turns out that Catherine set fire to Joseph's stable, and the fire destroyed all of his assets there. After managing to put out the fire, Catherine apologizes, saying she thought the fire would only be small. Joseph can only stand in silence, mourning his fate and the damage he suffered. The next morning, Joseph wakes up and sees the remains of his burned-down stable. Joseph immediately decides to withdraw all his savings and buy a new house, starting a new life there. As Joseph settles into his new home, Rosalie is waiting for him in the front seat. They talk and agree to start fresh, leaving everything behind. The film ends with Joseph and Rosalie now accepting each other as they are, going on a vacation to the beach, and the film concludes,